I'm making baby doll clothes. This is a Wilcox and Gibbs sewing machine. They made these from 1858 to the 1930s or 40s. They pretty much kept the same design throughout the whole time. The wheel would change or the tension would change. This is a one crank, one stitch. So they'd sit here all day doing their stitching. And it's a chain stitch, no bobbin. So if you hit the wrong stitch, it'll all come undone. But I sit here and I make baby dolls. There's somebody in here, Marie, you hold one up. For little girls who come by and want one. And then I make all the dresses that are in my shop, but I don't make them on this machine.
We're unreconstructed. We're from Northeast Alabama, and we play almost every weekend at some type of event like this. We play all over the Southeast, up into Delaware, down into Florida, and in the Carolinas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, and we're playing a song now called Darton Mother's Lullaby and Shebeg Shemore. What we have here is a variety of medicines and instruments that were used in the Civil War. In those days, we have, out of the 620,000 men that died in the Civil War, about 2/3 of those men died of illnesses and diseases. When the war started, neither side realized the magnitude that the war was going to take. So all these young men came to various training camps for their training. They brought with them what today we would call childhood diseases, such as measles and mumps and chicken pox and all kinds of diseases. And in these training camps were thousands and thousands of men all gathered together in very small, tight quarters. All of these diseases ran rampant throughout these training camps, and thousands of young men died before they even got to their first battle. Today we have inoculations for those things, but in those days they were serious, serious problems. The regimental hospital, which I represent, is the first MASH unit. You're familiar with Mobile Army Hospital from the movies and from the TV shows. The Civil War Regimental Hospital was the first MASH unit. It traveled wherever the regiment traveled, entered into battles. Typically, the regimental hospital had if it was fully manned medically, would have had a full surgeon who would have typically been a major in rank, and an assistant surgeon who would have been a lieutenant or a captain in rank. And then they would have had stretcher bearers and other folks associated with the medical department to help them in their efforts. When the regiment would go out to battle, one of the surgeon's jobs was to go out and find places to set up field hospitals. They would They would take any houses in the area to use as hospitals. They would take the doors off of the hinges. They would set them up as surgery tables. They would do surgeries in the houses. Oftentimes they would use barns or shade trees or whatever they had available to them. Of the 620,000 men that died in the Civil War, 2/3 of those men died of illness.
It's time now for a word of inspiration from Faith Trekkers. Historians have chosen largely to ignore the role of religion during the Civil War, but on 3 separate occasions President Abraham Lincoln asked the citizens of America to go to their local churches to fast, repent, and pray for the war efforts. It's apparent that Mr. Lincoln didn't buy into the modern-day notion of separation of church and state.